Okay, so I'm going to show you the quick and easy way to assign materials that will work every time for every object, and also making materials at the same time. Okay, so I've got a ceiling there covering up my space, so I'm just going to get that out of the way. I'm going to select it first. Oops, sorry, that's something else. I'll delete that. So I'm going to select my ceiling, and then again using the glasses down the bottom, hide element, just to get it out of the way. So now I have this wall here that I want to give my material to. It's already got one, but that's okay. We're going to make a new one. So these are the steps. On the Manage tab, you need to go to Materials first and make that material. Okay, so the steps for making a new material are first, find a material that's close to what you want in the list at the top, not at the bottom. So bring that bottom list down if you've got it there. And then up the top there, you'll have a list of materials. And you just need to find one that's closest to what you want in this list here. And so I'm looking for something that's similar to paint. There you can see I don't have very many paint type materials. So I'm just going to choose something that's close. There is a paint red there, but you may not have that. So I'll just choose finish, which is a material that, looking at the picture there, is similar to paint. So that's the first step. Find one that's close, then duplicate it. So right click, duplicate, and then straight away it's good to rename. So right click again on the new one, not the old one, in the same list, right click, so here finish one. So I right click and then rename, and I'm going to call this paint. I'm going to do orange today. That's why you do these steps to make one. So that's what I'm doing right now. So you start by duplicating an existing material, and then you rename it to give it your own name. So you can right click into all of these things. Now, it's really important you realise I've done all of this in the material browser. Over to the right, the editor's open, but it could be closed. If it's closed, you can click on the pencil. The button looks like a little pencil at the end of your material name to bring up the editor. So here, you'll see it's got now paint orange. That's the name I've given. But then below that, it's still got linen white. That's the render material. So I need to replace it as well. And to do that, you've got a little button at the end as well that looks like two arrows pointing in opposite directions. When you click there, you'll then get the asset browser, and you can go to the Autodesk appearance library there. I'll just expand that so you can see the name. Okay, so also Autodesk physical assets. Also below that you've got the appearance library. Either of those. So I'll just close this and bring it up again. So it's at the end of appearance there. You'll see a little button with two arrows. Yep. Yep. Replace. Yep. Okay, and so then make sure you go to the appearance library on the left-hand side, or physical assets. They're both okay, but I'm going to appearance library, and then find the render material that's closest again to what you're trying to make. So here I have a paint folder, and then I'm going to double click on any of these paint materials. Doesn't matter which one. So double click. So see how now that's gone into my material over here. So it says paint here below paint orange. Okay, so I've got my new material set up, and so now I can start changing it. Remember those steps, or have a look at the video to go over them again, because it's annoying when one little thing that you've missed will stop you from making material. Okay, so then I've got the paint selected here under appearance. So I've got aspect there set to appearance, and I've got paint there selected. So you'll see then in the generic panel, you've got colour. clicking on that, you can set any colour you like, but you need to know how to do that with RGB. Now, have you done any work with primary colours yet? No? Next semester, okay. So I won't go too far into this. Red, green and blue are the primaries with a lot of computing, but if you haven't used those, you'll see there's a Pantone button there below your red, green and blue values. So Pantone, have you worked with Pantone colours or heard of Pantone? Yeah. Yeah, good. So, good. Okay, so you know about colour models, and so Pantone has a huge range of colours, and they're going through that panel. You've got really almost any colours that you need. So I need an orange, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to choose plain orange. And that's it, okay. So that sets my render colour. But to change the graphics, I need to go back to Paint Orange at the top there, and then I'm going to tick Use Render Appearance. So now they both should be orange. But are they? You can see up here, the wall paint is still white. And that's because I need to do one last thing. Down in, again, on the appearance, so I'm going to choose appearance here to change that generic there so that it has no image. I'm going to go to remove image. And then finally you can see that I've got orange with my colour. Right, so materials are fairly involved, but those should be some basic steps that will give you your main materials at least. So I've made my material, I'm going to click OK. So that's the first major step. Make your material first, then, and that's on the Manage tab, you've got your materials. Then go to your Modify tab, and you've got the Paint button there. So here it is. You've got to check that it's got Paint, not Remove Paint, so you've got those two options there. I'm going to choose Paint, and then in the panel of your materials, you need to choose the one that you want. So there's my Paint Orange, and now finally I can choose the surface of this wall, and it becomes orange. Okay, so you can use that to apply any material to any of these main surfaces. Okay, so that one I can make orange as well. So, a bit too much orange, but just so you get the idea. Now, looking at the cabinet there, you'll see it's not letting me pick any of its surfaces. It's just going straight to the floor. So if you want to apply materials to things like this, you just need to do one extra step. So I've cancelled, and I'm going to select that cabinet, and you'll see then I've got the option to edit in place. Okay, so now if I go back to paint, then I can paint any of the surfaces on it as well. So it's just remembering to go to edit in place to change anything that you've modelled. Alright, so then there's just one last thing I want to show you that Iraj might not have shown you, because this is a bit more advanced than probably what you were doing at that stage. So I know he showed you the paint tool, so hopefully that was just a refresher for you. But then, did he show you how to find what the material is? Okay, so say I've assigned this material to my wall, that orange paint material, but I might have done it a long time ago and forgotten what the material's called. So to go and change that material, I'll have a problem because I don't know what it is. So to find out the materials you've assigned, a really good trick is to go to Remove Paint. So there, all you need to do then is hover over the material that you want, and you can see then it tells you the name down the bottom. Walls, basic wall, fixed wall, base, painted with orange. Okay, so that's how you find out what your materials are. It's a trick I had to work out myself. And also, obviously, it will remove the paint for you. So if I go back to here, remove paint, and then I'm going to select that wall face, and that takes the material off and goes back to the original. Okay, so that's it. Those are the steps you need to assign materials. And so you should be able to assign everything that way, 10 minutes. That's pretty good.